everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today is the start of another diary entry. So we are in March, and that means it's going to be March Mystery Madness. So the next couple diary entries that you're going to see are going to be March Mystery Madness focused. So hoping to read lots of mysteries, and I did put up a video showing my pile of possibilities. So if you're interested in seeing what I could possibly read over the next few diary entries, you can check that video out in the cards or down in the description box below. But in any case, I kind of started March Mystery Madness off on a kind of not so good note. So I started reading The Preacher by Camilla Lackberg. This is the second book in the Portrik Hjerstrom mystery series. I think that's the correct pronunciation. Though it's written, like, if you read how it's written for someone who's not Swedish, when I was talking about it in my Pile of Possibilities video, I said Patrick Hedstrom, because that's what it looked like to me. But I listened on the audiobook, and it's Portrik Hjerstrom. I think that's how it's pronounced. In any case, I listened to about 38% of it before I decided to DNF it. So this is a police investigator checking out crimes type of story. This particular installment though, so a little boy is out playing at a playground when he's not supposed to be. He's alone and he stumbles across a dead body, and that kind of gets the police investigating, right? But underneath the dead body, which is fresh or pretty fresh, there are skeletal remains of two other victims. And so it kind of matches some crimes that had happened years ago, but there's no way that this could be, or so they think, because the presumed suspect in that case had unalived himself. And so they're doing some investigation, looking into the skeletal remains, who those people are, and trying to piece together what's going on in the current case of the fresher corpse that they've stumbled upon. This particular one had a few things that bothered me in it. One of it is the fact that there's a couple different mentions of pregnancy going on in this story. One of the victims is a young mother, and so they kind of go through her pregnancy and how having her child at a young age affected her life in a negative way. And the fact that Portrik's girlfriend is also pregnant. And so she's about 8 months, I think, very close to the time that she's due. And she's kind of talking about her experiences being pregnant. We get a few chapters from her point of view, as well as Portrik's in this particular installment. Now, I don't mind the pregnancy references. What I did mind, though, was when they were talking about being as big as they are and how it prevents them from moving around, and some other mentions of larger plus-size people and how they looked and descriptions of them and how they moved around. I did not enjoy those passages at all. Things like she was as big as a whale and how it was hard for her to move around. Things like that, but spread across other people that you meet throughout this series, not only Portrik's girlfriend. I didn't enjoy the character talking about how having her child at a young age was very negative experience for her. I get that, but the way that she, kind of talks about how she wants to party more and things like that, I didn't enjoy. There's also a viewpoint of the story where you're seeing what happens to one of the victims as it's happening to them in the past. And so, even though there seems to be a lot of things going on, there are definite things that bothered me that were going on in the story, and I just wasn't like grasped. The story didn't grab me, and I kind of have this nagging feeling that the story's going to involve a preacher, right? And I'm not really big on reading things that involve religion. And so, in thinking about it, I just don't I just don't want to get into any more of that, if you know what I mean. And so I decided to DNF at 38%. It's not a great way to start March Mystery Madness for me, trying to get through a book that I just am not really enjoying and I'm having kind of negative feelings about. And so with that, I also decided to DNF the entire series, because if the things that are bothering me in this particular installment continue throughout other installments, it's just going to bother me even more. And I don't want to be bothered when reading my books. I just want to enjoy the story. And so, yeah, started off March Mystery Madness with a DNF of not only a book, but an entire series. So after that, that was my audiobook. I decided to pick up something that wasn't even on my pile of possibilities. And so I have finished that now, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I think. And so the book that I followed that up with was Hooked on You, which is the second book in the Scottish Highlands mystery series by Hannah Reid. So I believe I read the first book in the series for a previous round of March Mystery Madness, and that would be Off Kilter was the first book. And I really enjoyed that one. It follows a woman who goes to the Scottish Highlands to get some inspiration to write her book. And then she ends up investigating the death of I think it's a sheep shearer in the first one, if I'm not mistaken. But, she's an amateur sleuth at the time. And in this particular installment, she has been given a special constable designation by the police detective to help him investigate the murder of a woman who has, well, it kind of looks like she's been strangled by some hand-dyed and hand-spun yarn. And so I really, really enjoyed the first installment of the series. I remember enjoying it quite a bit. This particular one, I enjoyed a bit less. And you'd think that with the mention of hand-dyed, hand-spun yarn, and all of the talk that ended up being done about yarn and knitting with a little bit of crochet, in this particular one, it would have interested me a lot more than it did. And unfortunately, it was just okay. I mean, I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed hearing about the knitting techniques, and there's even a guy that knits in this particular one, though I didn't enjoy kind of the connotation that, it's embarrassing for men to be knitters, which is something that the particular male knitter in this installment is going through. But other than that, there was quite a bit, I would say, talk about knitting and yarn. One of the characters is actually starting some limited edition sets that she's doing as like a yarn club for the first time. And so there's talk about that and her inspiration into the colors that she's presenting and things like that. All of that I enjoyed, but the investigation for me kind of fell flat. And I'm not sure if it's because our character is no longer an amateur sleuth and she's been given this like special designation, even though she doesn't really have like training or anything like that. I do feel like her investigative like style, as I was reading through this particular installment, was very clunky. especially, when she was questioning particular suspects and how she handled herself, even though she has the special constable designation now, didn't seem very professional at all. And I don't know. I think I much would have preferred if she just continued to be an amateur sleuth, because that's definitely where her skill set lies. It's more amateur. And yeah, I'm not quite sure like why the author decided to make her an actual like investigator directly working with the police force. I don't know, it just didn't work very well for me. And so I ended up giving this one 3 stars. I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed the setting. I listened to this one on audiobook, borrowed a copy from Hoopla. There's lots of Scottish accents, which was great on the audio. And so, yeah, I think this series only has 4 installments. I am probably going to continue, just because I didn't really have anything that bothered me so much about this particular installment. There's definitely a connection somewhere in the book that has to do with the title of the book, and I will tell you that is not a spoiler. It has nothing to do with the murder. So in case you thought I dropped a spoiler there, I didn't. But there's definitely something you can connect the title of the book to something that happens in the series. So I really enjoyed that. I always like to find those references and see why things are titled certain ways, especially with the cozies. And so, yeah, I enjoyed it. Gave it 3 stars. I do have the next one downloaded to my phone from Hoopla. I'm not going to jump into that one right away, though. I did just get a library hold back to me that I wasn't quite expecting, but happily, it does definitely fit in with the theme for March Mystery Madness this year, and it is a mystery, and so that is what I'm going to be focusing on next. That's pretty much all I have to tell you about the books that I'm reading currently. We did end up going to a movie over the weekend that my daughter was very, very excited about. And it's one of those like interactive type movies. And it involved a franchise that my daughter's very passionate about right now. And it's called Hypnosis Mike. And basically it's these groups that are doing rap battles. And it was an interactive movie. And so depending on the votes that are accumulated as the movie is playing, like the people in the theater could vote and change the course of the movie. It was really, really interesting. It was like choose your own adventure in real time. It was really fun. And so we ended up going to that. But in the lobby of the theater, there was a Pop Mart vending machine. And so the Pop Mart vending machine is something that I really enjoyed. There actually was something in there that caught my eye. And so I ended up purchasing a couple of things. And there was something that caught my daughter's eye as well. But for me, I ended up picking up a couple boxes of these Say Hello Teletubbies. Now, Teletubbies was something that my daughter watched when she was very young. In fact, I will tell you that I dressed her up as this particular Teletubby for Halloween one year. She was adorable. But this is the Teletubby that I'm hoping to get out of this box. My daughter ended up getting some of these Neon Genesis Evangelion boxes. I'm not going to be opening this on camera, but she's going to open them later. But she's been really getting into this series, so I've got a couple boxes for her to open. But what I will do is open up these Teletubby boxes with you, because it is a mystery, right? These are mystery boxes. They're imported from China. And so it definitely falls into the theme of March Mystery Madness, I would say. And so let's see if I can pull a Poe out of these boxes. There are two kind of different sets. So you've got the normal colors here that are holding flowers. You've got a pastel-y set here that are holding cookies. And then there's a secret. So let's hope for Poe, which is the red one out of this box. I am going to open away from me so that I don't see, because I believe there might be a card inside and I don't want to be spoiled. But these boxes are interlocking type boxes and they're a little bit hard to open. Oh, I don't want to rip it. Looks like I broke the box anyway. Oh well. Okay. Pulling out the package, and I'm just going to put this here like this. So this is our little package. Let's see which one we got. I'm not gonna like jinx myself, but there's definitely one that I would prefer not to get just because of the color, but we'll see. Oh, it is Poe. It's Poe in the pastel line. So this is the one holding the cookie. Awfully cute. So it's a little cookie with a happy face. You've got the vinyl face here with the plush body. And it comes on this little hook here. So I did get a Poe, just not the actual red one. So very, very fun. Very happy with that. So that is my first one. Let's see. Oh, yes, there is a card on the bottom. So good thing I didn't look. And there's the card right there. So it says pose. Oh, it says caramel toast. It must be toast and not a cookie. And the back says say hello Teletubbies on it. So that is the first one. And let's see what we've got in our second one. So again, pulling the tab, opening away from me so that I don't spoil it. But I think, yeah, I've already broken this box too. And let's pull out the bag. I'm going to put that box down so that I cannot see the card. And then let's see who we've got in bag number 2. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's not Poe. But it is one of the regular ones, and it's not the one that I didn't want the color of. So this one, I'm not sure what color it is, or what it's called. Lala. It says Lala's Energetic Flower. So that's cute. And it also has your hanging hook here. And then the little card inside. Looks like that. That's cute. So those are the ones that I got. So I got one Poe and one Lala. Oh, they're cute. So I'm not sure if these are available at my Pop Mart store that's nearby. We'll have to check. But if I see these in a Pop Mart vending machine again somewhere, because actually we went quite far in order to see that movie because that was the only theater that was showing it. But if I see these again in a Pop Mart vending machine or out in the wild, I might pick some more up because I really would like to have the red Poe, the one holding the flower, because like I said, I dressed my daughter up as Poe when she was a little kid, and it was going to remind me of that time. And so she's not so little anymore. So yeah, but very, very cute. And they kind of go together. So yeah, really, really happy with these. And so that's pretty much all I have for you today. Like I said, I got a library hold. That's another thing that's not even on my pile of possibilities. It was actually a pretty unexpected hold to come through really fast, but it said my library obtained additional copies, so it came to me a lot faster than I had expected, which is nice because, like I said, it does fit the theme for March Mystery Madness. And I'm really, really looking forward to checking that one out. Plus, it's a continuation of a series for me, which is great. And so I think I should be back in my next clip to tell you about that book next, because I'm really, really going to try to focus on it over the next week or so. And so, yeah, that's all I have for you today, and I will check in with you later. So I finished my next book. It took me quite a while, and I wasn't even sure that I was going to be able to finish it before I filmed this clip for you so that I'd have a video out for you this week, but I was able to finish it, thankfully. And the book that I ended up finishing was The Secret of Secrets by Dan Brown. So this is the 6th book in the Robert Langdon series. I wasn't even sure that this series was still ongoing. I think Origin came out several years ago, which is the 5th book. And historically, I really, really enjoyed reading the Robert Langdon books. They're usually very eventful, lots of adventure. They usually take place outside of the United States, but I think The Lost Symbol, which is the third one, I think, takes place in the United States. So I typically enjoy them, and so when I had seen that another one was coming out, I immediately went to my library and put it on hold. Of course, very, very popular series, so the line was very long. So as it goes, the estimate kind of gives you a target date, or however many long weeks, I guess, you can expect to wait before it comes to you. And that's always subjective, because depending on if people return the book early or whatnot, And so I wasn't even sure that I was going to be able to get to this one in March, because when I looked at the end of February, I still had quite a ways to go. But the library ended up purchasing more copies of the book, and so I was able to get it in March. So thankfully, this one fit for March Mystery Madness because it does take place in Prague. And so I thought that was a really nice coincidence, and I got to reading it right away. It is a 700-page book. I think Goodreads says that it's 688 pages for the Kindle copy. I borrowed it from the library, and I'm reading it on my e-reader, and the e-reader says it's 701 pages. So I don't know, it's probably dependent on my spacing or whatnot. I'm on like the second from the bottom, smallest font. So I don't know, maybe if I put it on the smaller font, it would be less pages, but I don't think by that much. In any case, it took me a really, really long time. Thankfully, over the last week, I was able to listen to the audiobook in conjunction with my reading of the ebook copy. And so I ended up getting both copies really quickly from my library, which I'm very thankful for. And so during the day, at lunch, I would listen to the audiobook, and then at night, I would read some chapters from the ebook. And so that helped me to get through the book a lot faster. So in this one, like I said, Robert Langdon is in Prague. He's actually there to listen to a lecture that's being done by a friend who is now more than a friend, and she's on the verge of publishing this book that's kind of got some big ideas in it. She's also a scientist, and things go awry. She ends up going missing with her manuscript, and so that sends Robert on this adventure to find her, where he obviously uncovers some things. There is an assailant type character, as there usually is in these books. And so, yeah, I will say that I was a little bit disappointed with this one. It just didn't hold the same kind of feel that I remember the previous Robert Langdon books having for me. The pacing at the beginning part of the story was that really fast, exciting, content, but there were several times during my read of this book where I was like, oh, okay, we should be wrapping things up. And only to find out that when I had looked at my progress, there were several hundred more pages left. And I did that a few times during my read, which is unusual for me because I don't normally get that feeling like, oh, I've been reading this for a while. We're probably going to be wrapping up soon. Let me check. Which tells me that the story didn't really grab me as much as I had hoped that it would. And so, yeah. There was also a twist that came up at the ending portion of the book where, usually when things like that comes up, it's kind of like one of those things that kind of makes you think, kind of shocks you a little bit. And my reaction to the twist was, oh. And that was it. Like, it didn't like give me an overwhelming reaction. So unfortunately, even though I did think that this book was entertaining and I enjoyed it while I read it, this book doesn't get more than 3 stars from me, which I don't know that I've given any of the other Robert Langdon books 3 stars. I would have to see, and if I have, I will put it down here and let you know which ones I did. But like I don't know if it's because I have like the movie and TV show adaptations of the other Robert Langdon stories other than Origin that I have watched and rewatched and enjoyed over the years that kind of help to enforce my remembrance of enjoying those stories that I just don't have with this one. But that being said, there is no adaptation of Origin, which is the 5th book, and I still remember that I had enjoyed that quite a bit. And so, yeah, I don't know. I guess there's a lot of things that I guess were talked about in like the sciences of this book that I guess just didn't hit with me. And so I think that's part of the reason why I didn't enjoy this story as much either. And so, yeah, I am glad that I was able to read another book featuring this character, though. And if another one comes out in the future, I will still continue with the series because, like I said, I do enjoy watching him travel the world and, get into these situations. And they're usually pretty adventurous, kind of, shows you some things in the area that he's in. And I usually learn things as I read the books about the areas that he's in. And so I do enjoy that aspect, and I will continue this series if it does continue. As of right now, I have marked it on my series spreadsheet as completed because I just don't know. And if another one does come up, I will take it back to the active series list. But yeah, so not too many books to have talked to you about in this diary entry, but I guess that's just how the cookie's crumbling in March. Didn't turn out the way that I wanted to at the beginning either, considering that I had a DNF at the very start. My first book that I read to replace that DNF was a 3-star, and now this book is a 3-star. So I do have some exciting things that I'd like to put on my plate for the remainder of March Mystery Madness. So hopefully the next installment or the next diary entry will have a little bit more positive reviews. Not that the reviews that I had in this diary entry were bad. Like 3 stars for me is still a good book, but I'm kind of hoping for that 4-star, 4-star, 5-star maybe, because it's been a while, over a couple of years. 5-star would be great, but 4-star I'll be very, very happy with. So I do have the Monochrome Manga Club selections that I'll be talking about in the next diary entry. And then I've already started my next book that I'll talk to you about when I'm finished with that in that diary entry. And I will say that I am enjoying that book a lot more than the books that I had finished for you in this diary entry. So with that being said, there wasn't a lot of B-roll in this episode because we did not do anything, pretty much. It's been kind of a stressful couple of weeks. March typically is not a really good month for me, like mental health wise, because it is the month that I lost my grandfather. This year is the 29th year that he's been gone. And so, yeah. Actually, today is the day that I'm filming this. And so, it has been a little bit rough, but March also marks the anniversary of my work for the company that I'm working for. So that was kind of a big milestone for me at the beginning of the month. And so, yeah, there's just a lot of things going on. Work is still really weird. It's getting to be a little bit more stressful. The weather has not been in my favor. Again, today it's up there close to the 90s. Next week, I'm seeing 97 in the forecast for several days during the week. It's just, I don't know what's going on. But with that being said, let's get me some serotonin, shall we? And so I'm going to do my advent calendar openings first, because I always do those with these diary entries this year. So we'll do my yarn advent calendar, we'll do my Nido advent calendar, and then we'll do a set of blind boxes as well. So let's start with my yarn advent calendar. So I have number 6 right here. And again, this is the yarn advent calendar from Stitchin' with Yarn. This was the Charlie Brown Christmas inspired yarn advent calendar. And so each little mini skein is inspired by something in the Charlie Brown Christmas. And so this skein's inspiration says, "You're the Charlie Browniest." And so I guess it's going to be brown. Maybe because it's Charlie Brown is yellow. Yellow and black will be in there too. Let's see. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay, so it's kind of like darker shades of like sea glass. That's kind of what it reminded me when I pulled out, but it's very kind of autumnally. There's lots of like blues and greens, lots of variegation in this skein, lots of speckles. Very pretty. I think this is probably a little bit more brown and orange than the skein that we had in the previous diary entry, but it's still very pretty. I'm going to be interested to see what this advent calendar looks like when it's all laid out together. It's not a fade. It's not a fade, but the variations, they kind of all like cohesively go together, at least the ones that I've opened so far, in a like linear fashion, I think. But it might just be my memory. I might be remembering wrong since, you know, I only open these like every couple of weeks. But very, very pretty. I'm very happy with that. And so that is You're the Charlie Browniest from Stitchin' with Yarn. Okay, and now we have the Nido Advent. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm really hoping for another like stress ball type thing. So let's see what we've got. I see day 6 is right here. So it's a smaller one, so maybe that says Teeny Groovy Jewel. Ooh. And this one is filled with that gel. It looks more like water though. I think it's water. Because there is some glitter inside. I don't think you can like see it moving around in there. Maybe you can. But very, very cute. I'm going to keep that one out. But we'll put this one back. Because I think this one also will be a really nice squishy thing to play with. Oh yeah. It definitely has a little bit of a different texture. You can kind of hear it make that like water sound, and if you are able to see it, you can kind of see the glitter moving around in there. as I move this around like that. And so very different texture from this one, which is the first one that I had gotten. This has been squished quite a bit since I unopened it, but this one is more like that jelly texture. Very, very nice and squishy, and this is more of like rubber filled with water type texture. So very nice, and both my color as well. So I'm gonna put those here by the computer. And so yeah, very, very happy with that. So that's the Nido Advent. And now let's get to some mystery boxes. So over like the Christmas time, my daughter was at Target and she had found these. So these are the Baby 3 Yeti plush blind boxes. Baby 3 is the same company that does these guys right here. These ocean character plush ones that I've been opening up. And so the faces look very similarly. So I presume that the faces will still also be kind of like interchangeable like these, where there are just slight differences in the facial structures, the colors, and things like that. So I have 3 of these blind boxes that my daughter's been really excited for me to open. And so let's go ahead and do that now. So this is the first box. There are 9 Yetis that you can get. There's 6 that are like shown to you on the back. And then there's a surprise, a small secret, and a big secret. So let's see what we get in box number 1. I'm going to open again, away from me. Nice creamy smell there. Creamy smell. Creamy sound. Don't want to get any spoilers. And I'm not sure if there's a card inside. I know the Ocean Baby ones do have a card inside. So I'm just going to pull this out this way and put this down like this. Ooh, really nice bag right there. This is Yeti Plush Blind. We've got our pull tab here. And let's see what we've got. Oh, there's a tag right here. Ooh. Oh, that is cute. Oh, there is a tag in the bag. So let's do this. And I'm going to put the bag over here on the side. So this one says Dusk Gloom Fluff. I believe this is one of the ones that is on the back of the box. But it was kind of squished up in there. So let me just clear some of the fuzz from its face. Oh, so cute. And this is the one that has the eyeballs that are a little bit weird. So let me just move those into place. Okay. So there we go. Very, very cute. You've got your little hanger here. I think my daughter is really going to like this one. So cute. So that's the front. This is the back. Very, very fuzzy. And so, yes, this is my first one, the Dusk Gloom Fluff Yeti. Okay. There's nothing in this box, so I'm going to move it aside for space purposes. Let's get to box number 2. Oh, they are very cute. They're slightly bigger than the Ocean Baby ones too, because they're like full body. They do seem lighter though. I don't know, it feels lighter. Maybe the face is not as big, I don't think. So the amount of vinyl is not as heavy, but let's see who we've got in this one. So we've got our pull tab here. Oh, that did not open. Nope, that doesn't work either. Let's try the other side. Okay, that worked. Let's see. Oh, I have like a leg, I think. I think that's a leg. Ooh! Look at that. Okay. Let's see who this one is. So this one is Glitter Shine Frost. And so this one looks like this. Oh, look at that pouty face. I do have to say, I think the pouty faces are my favorite. This one has a couple buttons for eyeballs and the face up here with the horns and a lightning bolt on the belly. This one is also on the back of the box. So very, very cute. I like how kind of like punky these are. But the amount of hair that's around the face kind of makes it a little bit hard to see them. But they are very, very adorable. So very happy with that one. And such a nice color. It's got some like very light to medium cornflower blues in there. It's coming off with a little bit of like turquoisiness around this area, and that is not what it looks like in real life, but I'm really loving how it looks on camera. Unfortunately, there is no turquoise on this one, but it is still very adorable. Okay, last one. Let's see who we've got. These are very, very fun. I was surprised when she told me that they were at Target. Because typically, I usually only see these like in the specialty booths with the Labubus and like Hot Topic, and Box Lunch has been selling them. And that's usually where I get my Baby 3 products. So we have our last one here. Let's see who we've got. Okay, I've got a leg. Oh. Very cute. And again, a really pouty face. Very, very fuzzy. And you've got that proper Yeti facial patch right there with the horns. And this one also has ears. So this one is Frost Fluff Beast. Very cute. Is this one on the back? Yes, yes it is. That is so funny because if you look at the box, the three that I got are this one, and this one. Huh. I kind of really want this one and this one for obvious reasons because it's my colors. But they're still so cute. Oh my goodness. And again, we've got that really like pouty face. This one has some blush with a pink heart and like purple stars on the cheek with the purple. My daughter told me these are like bangs. I don't know, but purple and the red nose. Whereas the other pouty face I have for this guy has a pink hair or whatever, red nose, and they both have different mouths. So this one has two fangs sticking out, kind of like he's like biting his lip. There are two fangs that you can't see on the camera. And this one is a surprised face. And this one has the blush with snowflakes on the cheek. And this one has the hearts. So that's kind of what I really love about the Baby 3 is that you never know like what face you're going to get. Let's see what the one on the box looks like. Yeah, even the ones that they have on the box are different from the ones that I unwrapped. Except maybe the Dusk Gloom Fluff might look... No, it doesn't. The Dusk Gloom Fluff is different also. It's got that same kind of cute baby type face. And it's got a cat, a black cat on one side, and a paw print on the other cheek with the pink hair. So, yeah, and on this one, the eyeballs do move. So you can kind of make the facial expression whatever you want. But these are the 3 that I got. They are so cute. Look at that. Oh, very, very fun. And I will say it definitely gave me a boost, which I needed today. So, yeah. I will definitely pick up more of these boxes if we see them again. But like I said, it's been a few months since my daughter picked these up for me. So I don't even know if Target still has any more. But if I see any more anywhere, I will probably pick a few more up because I do really want more of the collection as well as the turquoise ones. But yes, very, very cute. And the daughter might steal this one from me if I'm honest, because it is totally her style. But that's pretty much everything I have for you today. Let me know down in the comments below if you're participating in March Mystery Madness and what you started your March Mystery Madness month with. Have you been finding success with the reads that you selected? Or have you been kind of like me, where it's like the reads are good, they're just not great? So yeah, here's looking to a few better reads, hopefully, in the next diary entry. We're definitely going to have more advent unwrappings and probably another mystery box unboxing. I will say there's several things going on behind the scenes that I'm just not sharing with you that are kind of also adding to my kind of down mood and stress and things like that. So we'll see how everything works out, but I'll definitely check in with you as I finish reads throughout the last couple of weeks in March. But share with me if you've been doing anything fun and exciting. I would really love to know. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me a magnifying glass emoji down in the comments below, it would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.